All right, everyone, we are here with this special guest. We are joined by Bryan Greenberg, here to talk about Suits LA, premiering on NBC. We're super excited to have you here, Bryan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We are excited. I've loved your stuff for a long time, and we're big One Tree Hill fans.
Okay, cool.
So we've had you on the list, and
nice.
when we saw Suits LA, I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. We also love Suits.
Yeah.
So it's a great combination.
Awesome.
How did you feel with you're bringing back Suits?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's I've never been a part of something that's so anticipated before, and I booked the pilot right after the peak of when it was streaming, was the #1 show on streaming that year. So it's really cool to step into something that people are excited about. So I've done a lot of things that people aren't excited about. So it's a nice, as an actor, it's refreshing, it's cool. There is some pressure that comes with it, but I don't really take it on. I just hope that the audience, it's like an adjustment period. They have to
for sure.
They're going to be comparing us, and that's fine because we are called Suits, and that's totally fair. But I think now we're sort of settling into our groove and finding our own show, which it's a totally different show.
Yeah,
but it's got the same DNA as the original.
And it is tough too, because when a show like Suits goes so viral, everybody loves it. It's like they all locked in.
Yeah.
But it had so many seasons.
Yeah,
already.
9 seasons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's people watch and they're like, oh, it's maybe a little bit of a slower start, and
Right.
then it gets picked in. And then when you do a show like this, it's right away you're
the
getting
expectations are very high. So, but I kind of knew that was going into it, so I'm not.
Right.
When the opportunity presented itself to you, did you know about Suits LA being made before Suits started popping off on streaming services, or was it kind of
No, it was hand in hand. It was right after it popped off. So it was a very coveted job. Every actor in LA was trying to go out for it. I felt like I hit the jackpot when I got.
Oh my God, that's
job,
incredible. What was the process like?
The process was an audition. First in-person audition I've had in 5 years.
Wow.
Everything was kind of gravitating towards going on tape as an actor before COVID, and then during COVID, obviously, everything was you were being put on tape, and then this was the first they want to see you in the room. I'm like, whoa! So that was cool. Even though I used to hate auditioning, this felt like I was excited to do it because it's been so long, and I was just really jazzed to do it. And I went in for another role that I wasn't right for, and then they. Couple months later, they hey, what about Bryan for this role? And then so they brought me in, and I had to go through 2 more auditions, and I did a test with Lex Scott Davis, a chemistry read, and I just knew right away this is it.
That's awesome. That is super cool. What are the nerves like going into your first in-person audition in years?
Yeah, like I said, I used to get really in my head and nervous about auditioning and psych myself out. But I think I've just matured to a place in my life that I can let it go and have fun and see it for what it is and not be so result based and just enjoy the process. And I was also in the middle of promoting a film that I wrote and directed and starred in called Junction at the time. And I was working on another show called Empire of Ocean Park. So I was in it, I was very I literally took a car to the audition and then to the airport to go fly to go shoot something else. So I was just in the flow,
right?
Not in my head.
It was just another Tuesday. It was I just got
So I was loose, but that isn't the norm. I failed many auditions, so I think I just got lightning in a bottle.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any audition war stories?
I mean, so many auditions, so many failures. That's part of being an actor. I kind of block them out, to be honest, because it's just you got to just put it away.
Totally.
It's just part of the job. It's how it is.
Right, and you're talking you're saying there was a lot of actors that this was a coveted role. People want to audition for this role, but I'm sure you've been in a position before where you see somebody get something that you audition for. You're like, damn, I could have had that. But now people feel that way about you with Suits LA.
Yeah, and that's just how it goes. You're not gonna be. I think I'm at the place now, where the people I go up against, we can all do the job. We're all capable. We've all had experience. We've all had our own shows, whatever. It's just, are you the right fit for that one? So that makes it easier. If somebody beats me out for something, it's it was never mine. It was always theirs. And I don't look at things as a competition, except for myself. It's just not a healthy thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I think this business, they want they want you to think that it's a competition where it's like there's these award shows and there's the best actor. And
Right.
like, there's no best actor. It's like, unless they all did the same movie.
Right. That's a
then
great
they're
point.
not the best actor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Then
everybody's
who is the
different.
best at that role?
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like, so it's just,
Yeah.
I think there's this false construct that's created to make it a competition when it's really not, you know?
Yeah.
So I've always been trying to be supportive of my friends and like tell people about, you know, auditions I'm getting and try to hook people up with jobs. It's like, it's not, I
Right.
think we all come up together.
Yeah, you're like, you would be great for this.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, with the success of Suits, you talked about it. Suits LA, totally different show.
Yeah.
How did you differentiate Rick from the characters that already existed in
Yeah.
the Suits universe to be your own and be your own show?
Yeah, good question. I didn't watch the original. So
There you
that's
go.
how.
Good. Yeah.
Not
There you
because I
go.
didn't want to. I saw the pilot just to get a sense of the tone. And but I didn't want to fall into the trappings and the rhythms of the other actors. So I really wanted to just be authentic, to bring my authenticity to this role. So yeah, I thought I was just protecting myself as an actor.
I think that's so smart.
So I'm not comparing myself all the
Right,
time. You know,
because-
otherwise I would be.
Right. And I think that's genius, especially because with a role like that, you can imagine people who are big fans of Suits, actors who have watched, they step in there, they're trying to do their best Harvey impersonation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or my character would be like the Mike.
Right.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
Mike. And then it's like, well, if you just don't see it at all, then you're you.
Yeah,
You're doing your own
exactly.
thing.
So you can't. It's like,
Yeah.
you can't blame me.
There's been 3 episodes
Yeah.
that have aired so far. Right now, your character is in the midst of like a little betrayal.
Yep.
Head of entertainment.
Yep.
They're fighting for this job. Now, of course, because it is Suits LA, you get the entertainment, the
Right.
acting, the agent aspect, all that things, entertainment lawyers. What did you pull from your own interactions with entertainment lawyers for this character?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like Rick Dodson, he's a very he's got like a strong moral compass,
Yeah.
you know. And Hollywood is a tricky landscape where there's not many of those types of people.
Yeah. Yep.
And that have the same value system.
Yes.
So, and I've been
It's very
working
pure for a lawyer,
yeah,
it seems.
Yeah, I've been working in LA as an actor for a while. So, you know, I'm so glad I don't have to do like legal jargon that I don't understand. Like I understand what a contract is
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
what the terms of that mean for entertainment stuff. So it does feel like a familiar world for me.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
definitely
Right. I was
that's
going to
definitely
ask if it felt similar because, you know, people outside of that world, when you watch shows like that have anything to do with the entertainment business, everybody wants a little inside scoop into
Right.
the world of Hollywood.
Yeah.
So it's like, how similar is this? Are there things that are really taken from the real life, you know, behind the scenes of Hollywood?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we have actors playing themselves, which is really cool. Like last week we had Brian Baumgartner from The Office and Patton Oswalt, and next week we have Enrico Colantoni and Gabriel's coming back to play Harvey, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like there's a lot of overlapping storylines that could take place with, but it's like it's heightened, you know. It's entertainment. It's
sure.
it's a show. It's not, you know, we're not trying to like rip from the headlines. It's
Right,
not,
right.
It's not one of
Exactly.
those shows.
Yeah.
We had and I believe Rick Hoffman too.
Oh, you did? Love Rick.
Yeah.
He's coming back.
He is
Yes,
coming
we
back.
just
We
saw that news.
had him when we had him. It was just that was also peak. Like Louis Slay was really
Was it after
going
the
viral
show?
again.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was right after that.
and everybody was
Yeah.
really losing it. So I know I saw people really excited for him.
Yeah,
to,
he's
to
great.
pop back.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like all the clips that have gone viral of him and doing his
Yeah.
lit up stuff. Like, I'm psyched for the fans that, you know, they're coming back. I think it's great to connect these two worlds.
Totally.
And I just think it just pays homage to the original, which is awesome. Like we have the same showrunner, the same writers, a lot of the same directors, same wardrobe,
Yeah.
stylists. There's a lot of some overlap.
Yeah, it's cool to be in the same universe and make those connections
Yeah.
with people because that's kind of
Yeah.
like what the point of why you
Yeah.
do it too, which is awesome. But I wanted to go back a little bit. We
let's
just
go
said we want to go back. I want to go way back.
Oh no!
because
How far back are you talking about?
I did see, you know, that you were in New York, NYU.
Yeah, I
right?
went to NYU.
and which
Yeah.
we obviously record here in
Okay.
New York City. So I love when I see people who are at NYU and are kind of starting their acting career
Yeah.
from New York. I don't know if you saw during the SAG Awards, they made a big joke about how so many of the actors in the room got their start on Law and Order,
Oh,
Law and
yeah,
Order
I did.
SVU, all those
Yeah.
things. They showed the montage,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm seeing everything. I'm like, there it is, first episode, Law and Order. What
Yeah.
was it like booking that gig?
I don't know if I didn't see the SAG Awards,
Yeah.
but I might have been in that montage
Yeah, you
because
might
that
have,
was
yeah.
my first television show. I got killed on Law and Order in the beginning. I was like a chicken delivery guy, and I worked with Jerry Orbach, rest in peace, and Benjamin Bratt, and the person who killed me was Rob McElhenney, who started It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
and he's got the Apple Show, and he. That was our first show together. That was his first TV show, and then we also did our first movie together called
Wow.
Civil Action. So like, it's just crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's just like a rite of passage for a New Yorker to do that show. You know, it was awesome.
It's almost a tell as if you're gonna make it. If you book an episode of Law and Order.
I wanted to ask, like, of being, you're in school, it's studying theater, doing the whole thing. Like, is there whispers of who's booking those gigs?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was very ambitious as a 18-year-old moving to New York from St. Louis, and I knew right away like I wanted to start working, and I got lucky enough, and I was hustling. I found a manager and an agent. I started booking commercials, and then I just started working. Because I was eager, and I remember like I got like a little role on The Sopranos and Law and Order, and I kind of did my little guest star circuit while I was studying. It was cool to be in college and like learning about the craft, but actually working in real time. There was a couple of times where it was getting in the way of school, like I had to miss some finals and stuff like that. And that was hard to navigate. But I mean, I definitely feel like it gave me like a leg up for sure, because I was already starting.
Right. Yeah. And you missed those finals. You're like, it's worth it.
It's fine. It was philosophy. Like,
And
I don't know any philosophers,
you get a little
professional philosophers.
role on The Sopranos. I mean, like what the height of that, what was that like?
That's a
one
funny
of your
story.
first.
Yeah, that I was in the first episode of the second season, and I remember doing the table read with James Gandolfini, and there was like a lot of excitement. And I had this scene with Lorraine Bracco, and then I get to set. And the table read went great. And then I get to set and they say, oh, we cut that scene. I was like, oh, okay. And then they're like, but we give you a new line. I was like, okay, and a new role. I'm like, you're Peter McClure. I'm like, cool, I have a name. And then they're like, well, they're going to be taking attendance in class, and they're going to say Peter McClure, and you're going to say here. I was like, all right.
Amazing.
So don't blink, but I'm in it.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Like when I got to LA, after I was like bartending and hustling in New York, and then I came to LA to give it a shot, and there were so many more opportunities there at the time. And having that, even though I was like barely in it, having that on my resume was like a huge leg up.
And it was great that the character did have a name,
right?
Exactly.
It's like no, he had a name.
Yeah,
Look him up.
and it was probably rare that somebody didn't see The Sopranos at the time because of how big it is.
Yeah.
But say they just see Sopranos in the name, and they're like, they're taking a second look at the resume.
I didn't see it until last year, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, because I didn't have HBO then.
Yeah.
And I was just late to it. Yeah, but I binged it last year. It is actually one of the best. Yeah, it holds up.
It definitely does.
Maybe not my performance, but the show itself holds up.
You had a name.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. So you're hustling in LA. What do you think your first role was that you were like stopped down the street for?
Oh, well, probably Jake Jagielski, One Tree Hill,
of course,
was like that was such a like a loved character, and that show was such a huge hit and still is. It's crazy all over the world. That felt like things are kind of different now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that show really is one of those shows that it just recycles.
People love it.
And the younger generation watches it again. They love it. I mean, I think I've watched One Tree Hill start to finish.
Oh, really?
Many times.
Oh, same. And
I
remember
From
the first time I ever
episode
watched
1 to
it.
the last episode.
Yeah.
Right, because when it first came out, I think I was, my older sister was watching, and I was maybe a little too young to be watching. But then when it hit, when I was in high school, then I started to watch it. And I think every year it makes that
for high school girls.
like you're right.
People. Yeah,
no, literally,
totally.
just anybody. They're like, oh wait, we need to watch this show. I think it's a staple. I think you have to watch One Tree Hill from beginning to end.
When you realized that, or obviously we're in it, when it seemed that Jake's time was coming to an end, what did you feel about that? Like, did you love being on the show, or did you feel like it was time to move on?
I loved, but I also felt like it was time to move on. Yeah, it was cool. Like I was guest starring on it. People associate me with that show, even though I was never a series regular. I just kind of recurred. But I just think the character was like, how can you not going to fall in love with this guy who's like a single father in high school, and plays guitar and all this stuff. So he was a very likable character, and very memorable for the audience, I think. So that was really cool to be a part of that. But yeah, at the time I had a lot of opportunities coming my way, and I just wanted to take them. Yeah. And I'm really glad I did. But I still went back, and even after I did other films and other shows, I still went back to One Tree Hill and played that character. Yeah. So, I feel like I did it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And what's cool now is, and we see it all over social media, there's these like the big conventions.
Oh yeah, it's a whole thing now.
Reunions, and everybody does it. Yeah. And I've seen you at a few of them. What's it like, kind of reuniting with everybody, and then also seeing the fan reactions? Like, you guys are out there playing basketball. It's like you're playing a high school basketball game.
Yeah, that's what's cool. Is like the last one we did was a charity basketball game with like all the fans were watching us, and I was just really grateful that I didn't injure myself. But it was cool. Like, it's just it was all for like St. Jude charity, and yeah, I mean, it was really fun. It was like the closest I've ever gotten to being like an athlete.
Right.
I was being on One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Yeah, the convention thing, it's like, at first I wasn't sure how, as an actor, what I was uncomfortable with it, because it was just really foreign to me. But then I have like friends who are much more famous than me that are doing it, and I'm like, why am I not doing it if they're doing it? And then I went, and then I realized at those conventions, it's like, it's really cool, because it's not about you at all. It's just like you're part of their weekend experience, and they just want a picture, and some people want to connect, but it's really, you're just part of their experience. They're having, this is their vacation.
Right.
It's
they
cool.
just like really want to be in Tree Hill.
Right.
They're like, I want
nostalgia feeling.
Yeah,
of,
it's
like
all
growing
good.
up watching it.
Yeah. Yep.
You've been a part of so many fun projects. Is there anything you look back on where you're like, I just want to go back and relive those days just for one day?
Well, I'm happy now. Like, I try not to have that perspective, because I don't think it's healthy. I think you should enjoy where you are now, and not like be too nostalgic about the past or thinking too much about the future. I've got a great opportunity right now with Suits LA, and I get to be with my family and in LA, which is awesome. It's like the perfect show for me right now in this moment. But like How to Make It in America, that was the perfect show for me to be in my 30s in New York and single and like living in nightlife and all that. That was perfect. I wouldn't want to do that now.
Yeah, right.
That
would
kill
at that
me.
time,
appreciate it for
you know what?
Yeah, exactly.
Ended too soon.
Yeah, definitely. I love that show. That was that was one of my favorite jobs.
Yeah,
favorite jobs ever. Yeah,
I think people like watching that show to feel like they're sort of, like you said, they're sort of in that.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah,
and then what I also think is so fun too is like you're acting, like you just said, for Junction, writing, directing, doing all these things. You actually reconnected with Sophia Bush for that movie,
she was in
as
Junction,
well, which is really cool, and people love to see that connection. What was it like, kind of working with her again later?
So awesome.
Yeah, she's so cool.
She's so cool, and like she's such a good actress, and I mean, Junction was a passion project of mine. It was really hard to make. It was about the opioid epidemic, and like people, that's a hard movie to sell to people. That's a hard movie to get investors to come on board. So I did everything on that movie. I wrote it, directed it, like produced it, found the money. I was acting in it as well, and I just called all my friends, who I thought were talented, and I was like, hey, you want to come to Rhode Island and slum it with me for a couple weeks, And she's like, I didn't even have to read it. She's like, of course I'd do it. Like, but I'm glad she did read it. And I thought, working with Sophia was awesome, because on One Tree Hill, I mean, we think we had a few scenes together, but my storyline wasn't really connected to hers.
Yeah.
But we have seen each other throughout the years, and we've become really close friends. So it's nice to be able to just like work on an intimate level with her, as adults.
Have you heard anything about a rebirth of One Tree
Hill?
Yeah,
I've heard of it, but I don't know if it's real. Like, I mean, I heard that maybe there's a development of it, but I'm not involved at all. I have no idea. I'm not privy to the conversations, or if it's happening, if it's not happening. I've definitely heard. Yeah, I mean, I got out there, so people keep asking me if I'm going to do it. I'm like, I don't know if it's real, but it's cool. I hope it goes for them.
Yeah, when it came out, we mentioned Jake, and we were like, well, maybe
we said we joked because everybody on the new generation on TikTok and they like everybody ranks their One Tree Hill like couple. No, the couples is like people put Jayton at the top. And,
good.
Oh my God, they love it. So we were kind of joking. We're like, well, maybe Lucas.
Yeah, maybe Lucas left, or
like,
maybe Lucas
something
is not
happened.
here anymore.
Maybe we'll find out. I don't know. Like,
he steps back into the picture.
I am not in the loop, but I mean, I'm here for it. I think it's cool. I love that show, and I loved working with everybody. So I hope that'd be cool.
Yeah, and it's cool to see all the girls reunite and they do the podcast and everything. So I think it's fun to see if they do. If it does come to fruition,
we'll see.
It would be really, really cool.
It makes sense though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
it
like,
totally
people
does.
love it. It's like
with everything that kind of gets brought back
I've
up
heard
again.
Worse ideas.
Like
exactly.
And there was some music involved with that character a little bit too, and music for you as well.
Yeah.
How important has music been in your life?
Well, huge. It was a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
For a long time, and One Tree Hill was a really cool launching pad for my music because I got to play my original stuff on the show. And then we went on tour like with Gavin DeGraw and Tyler Hilton and Joy, and like that was awesome. We would play like huge huge shows and go on tour. It was really, really cool. And then I definitely was like doing the touring thing for a while and putting out music, but after a while I just felt like it was exhausting. And I just felt like I kind of had to choose a little bit because I was canceling tours because I'd book a pilot or something, and then I'd have these promoters trying to sue me, and I'm like, yo, I don't need this in my life. I just want to play music. And it's so I still love music, and I still play all the time. I play with my kids, but I don't really pursue it. And every now and then I'll do like a one-off show or whatever, something like that. But I don't pursue it. And I started putting my creative energy into writing and directing and producing. I just feel like it's so hard to do any of those things that you kind of need to focus. For me personally, I'm not talented enough to do all of them at once. So I mean, I still love it. Maybe I'll come back to it.
Juggle, it's never, a lot.
It's just not a priority of mine as like a career. It's just like a passion.
And music is such a fun thing that you can just incorporate in your life without it being your full-blown career. I mean, you can obviously act in your own life too, but it's like you can sing to your kids.
I mean, my phone is full of like half-written songs that I'm like, still thinking of all the time.
Well, maybe down the line, but it is great to see. And you mentioned your boys. I saw a picture of you walking them onto set.
Yeah.
How cool is it to have them kind of watch Dad now in his element?
Yeah, it was really like, it just warms my heart. It's just really cool. They don't know what I do.
I was going to say, they're like, okay.
But but it doesn't matter. To me, it was just like, I needed to give them, I'm gone all the time. Like since they've been born, I did Junction. I've been working nonstop and all good, but I've been gone a lot. So it's nice, one, to be in LA because we shot the pilot in Vancouver, and then we found out that we got the tax credit in LA, and I didn't know. Like I was looking for apartments in Vancouver, thinking I was gonna have to move and come back every weekend and do that. And then Aaron, the showrunner, called me. He's like, "Yeah, we got the tax credit. Suits LA. It's gonna be in LA." I'm like, "What?
How excited were you?"
It's funny if it would have been the same thing. It's like because they shot Suits in Toronto and it was supposed to be New York. It was just.
But it's good for the show, Like
definitely.
It's good for me personally because I get to be with my family. But it's good for the show because we get to shoot like on Hollywood Boulevard or like in CAA or all you know what I mean? It's just you get that feeling,
the real
of it.
feel of LA.
But it was cool. Like so, I'm gone all the time usually, and it was cool just to like this is where I go. This is what I do. And so they can kind of maybe in their little brains.
That is so special. But you always have the memories, the pictures to look back on. Give good stories.
Yeah, for sure. That
is so cool.
And they like the free food.
Yeah, craft services is a child's dream, I would think. It's walking up. That's going to be awesome. And you and your wife, Jamie, have been together for...
forever.
A while, but married almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years now,
Which is amazing. Do you guys have any celebration in mind for 10 years? I feel like 10's a big one.
I want to do a party, but she's so low key and like I don't want to celebrate. It's hard. We got twins, so it's like even getting out the door is hard, like putting their shoes on. So like the thought of like planning a party or anything like that is just, it's unfathomable at this point.
Yeah. Maybe a little surprise.
I'd like to do that. Yeah. Maybe we should plan a surprise right here on this podcast. So that would be a real surprise.
And nobody will know.
Yeah.
Nobody tell her. You're listening. Nobody tell her, but there's a surprise incoming, but don't tell her.
But I'd like to do something in 10 years that feels like an accomplishment, especially in Hollywood years,
Right. Exactly. It's absolutely worth celebrating for sure.
Maybe a little trip, a little getaway.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
I'd love to get a getaway.
That always plays.
I just think vacations now are not the same when you have kids. Like it's cool. Like it's cool. It's just not relaxing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, you kind of have to leave the kids.
It's a different type of vacation.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking before the interview started, and you taled about how you went to Turks and Caicos and you almost got a little bit bored. But
that
now,
was so boring.
But now you want to be bored a little bit, maybe.
Nah, I don't know. Like I'm not one of those people that can just like sit on a beach for a week. I go crazy. That's why I like being in New York. Like I love the stimulus. I love being around the energy, and I need stuff to do. I need distractions. I can't just like look at the ocean.
We certainly can. I know.
It's nice for a day.
It is.
And then I'm like, all right, next, what else we got?
Yeah. We were actually
you
joking.
need some exploring.
Yeah, I need adventure.
Yeah, excursion.
Yeah.
All right, these are all ideas that we'll plan for some.
We're working it.
We're going to plan your 10-year anniversary.
Please, by all means.
For some extreme getaway that you guys are going to take.
We'll send it in your inbox to the two of you. You guys will be on your way.
We'll do our last question, which is sponsored by Armani Beauty.
All right.
Which is, we have it on our table here. It's
yes,
beautiful
yes.
stuff.
Amazing.
And I, like you said, so it's nice to work in LA. You're home. It's great with the kids. How do you and Jamie kind of balance like this job is coming across your desk, she's got jobs coming across her, like how do you kind of balance who's at home and who's doing what?
We're trying to figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard. Because we're both, artists and we live like this gypsy nomadic lifestyle. It's just communication. You're just like, okay, let's get on the same page. Thankfully I'm in LA, and it's you just need to keep the kids in one place. I think it's I don't know. We haven't gotten to the place where like we're both working out of town yet. So, thankfully, we've been trading, which is nice. But I don't know. We'll figure it out as it comes. I guess whoever's making more money, we'll have to, have to put the bill.
Right, you're like, let's go to the last page of the contract and let's see who's taking the job. But you guys have gotten to do a few things together too. So is that what you like to keep doing? Maybe
I think Jamie's such a phenomenal actress. Like she's so talented, and I love working with her. That's why she was great in Junction as well. And we did this movie called It's Already Tomorrow in Hong Kong together, like a romantic comedy, like a romantic movie that we shot in Hong Kong while we were engaged. Actually, that was really fun, and that had a lot of success. And for an independent film that got really out there, I love working with her. I don't know if the feeling's mutual. I think I annoy her all the time. So, I mean, I'm her biggest fan. I don't know, but like, I'm down, Jamie. If you're down, if you're listening.
All right, the next one for sure. You'll plan it on the vacation that we were also,
I think she likes it better if I'm like behind the camera.
Cool. That's awesome too. Do you think you have like the directing bug after doing Junction?
Yeah, for sure. I loved it so much. I kind of wanted to do it to see if I wanted to do it, because I was like, maybe I gotta scratch this itch. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I wanted. I definitely want to do.
Direct some episodes of Suits LA.
I'd love to.
Yeah, that'd be real. Another very cool thing. So. That even though I said that was the last question I asked, like four more. I asked like 4 more questions. No, we'll wrap it up. We're super excited.
I thought you were
going
to tie in Armani Beauty into the question.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna,
sometimes
segue
there
somehow.
is like a beauty confession.
Okay.
But you have any beauty confessions?
Yeah, do you have a confession to conceal?
Yeah. Is that what you?
Yes, yes, it is.
I don't have
we didn't tailor it for you.
Confession? No, nothing that comes to mind. I'm so sorry, Armani.
Yeah.
Armani. I don't.
Well, I'm sure maybe Jamie has tried before. It's some great stuff.
I use it every day.
I do steal her products.
As you should.
Like when I have to do a job.
Okay, that's a confession.
Yeah, here you go.
There you go.
When I have to do a job, like the makeup artist will often ask me, like, what products do you use? And I'm like, Jamie, what products?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You should.
There you go.
Get the skincare, get everything going. So Thank you so much.
You
We're
guys are
so
awesome.
excited to keep watching
This is
Suits
great.
LA Sunday
Yes.
nights, NBC,
Yeah, streaming
9
on
o'clock,
Peacock as well.
and then Peacock the next day. We,
Yeah.
you know,
Amazing.
we
Yeah.
love Peacock.
We love Peacock.
So
Yeah, I guess
we're
the
just-
audience loves Peacock. That's where
Yeah.
it seems to be
Yep.
where they're watching it. So that's
Exactly.
awesome.
I think sometimes people are like, "Oh, that show's just on Peacock." You
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's what people love.
Right.
So
Peacock's got it all.
they
really
sure do. So everyone, if
Watch
you
on
haven't tuned in
NBC.
yet, jump in. There's 3 episodes you can catch up on
Yeah.
and get into it. So we're excited to see
Thank
and
you.
excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Thanks so
you
much, Brian.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.